I think one of my comedy heroes when I was growing up was Alan Alda on MASH, you know, and
Sure. Oh, he
Alda,
was fantastic.
right? I mean, like he could do the serious part, the serious bits on there, but he would also his kind of comedy was just making fun of everything, but doing it very well. You know, you can make fun of something and you're just like, okay, but the way he did it, he just made it like an art form, you know. And
Well, he was bringing some Groucho.
Right, yeah.
I mean, he would say so.
Yeah, and a lot of do you think a lot of what he did on MASH was like improvised? Do you think they let him like do some of that, you know?
That's a great question. I haven't heard the stories about it because it was such a, Gilbert, it's such a great show. It's so wonderfully written. There are times when you don't need it and there's no real impulse to do it because it doesn't feel like anything needs to be fixed.
Right.
And then there's other places where, yeah, let's play around here. And it's not necessarily because the project was very neglectful in that area, but it's because it was kind of designed like a Christmas tree that you buy and you embellish. But it's not a completely decorated tree you take home.
Right.
So I think some scripts are like that, especially when they know who they're putting into it. If it's going to be Carell and Rudd and Galifianakis, and then you can leave lots of elbow room there to play, you know. Like Dinner for Schmucks. There was room all throughout to have horse around things. And on, The Office, certainly there'd be moments where Steve Carell, now let's do one for you, and let's do another one for you. And it's everyone's challenge to keep a totally straight face in the scene because everyone knows the old scene.
Yeah.
And so when you change the scene suddenly, it's like you get the Korman effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the try not to break, and your face is like contorting, and
Conway's like throwing his guy right in your face, and you trembling to your eye.
They were such assholes to each other, always trying to break each other up, you know. But it was comedy gold, right?
I want Evan to look like that when I'm up there. I want to take a loop of being either Harvey or Tim, one dynamic or the other. I want to live in that moment and cut it and scotch tape it together so it just keeps going round and round forever.
Right.
I want to live permanently in that moment.
I always dug people who like comedians in that situation where they were trying to. They were doing a performance for the audience, but they were also trying to fuck up their buddy, like, you know, like in a good way, you know, like I'm gonna throw you something such a curveball, you're not even gonna see it coming, and then I just want to see what you do, you know. Not like the Jimmy Fallon where he you know, God love him, he just laughed at everything. I think he was just a fan of comedy in general. So I mean, it would have been a great spot to be in, you know,
he likes
be
improv.
on that show.
He's one of the hosts that will let you do a little horse around rather than the thoroughly gone over index card of material, you know.
Right.
We go over every word of that now because we have sponsors.
Now, I'm not trying to call you old or anything, but you were around during the Carson days, right? Did you ever go on the Tonight Show?
I have an interesting story about that, my friend.
Please.
You know Joan Rivers' story, and you know that there was a little conflict towards that. Joan believed in me. She also raised hell. She also rocked the boat. She also didn't try to make everyone happy. She had brass ovaries, you know, and Joan pushed for me to get on the show kind of around the other people like Freddie DeCordova. He wasn't so crazy about me. He didn't like my politics or any of it, you know. So my crazy act was not something he thought was right for the show. But Joan fought to get me on there. So Joan got me on there, but she got me on there the night when there was the big blow up about, hey, you didn't tell me that you were building an audience, and then you're going to get your own show on another network that cuts a half hour into mine. And so there was a huge fight that night, but that was the night I was on the show. So I got
Oh, wow.
associated with all. How was that for me? But it was a fine set. It just, it was a fine set on that night. No matter what, it was out of Joan's hands. Thank you, Joan Rivers. Love you up in the stars, wherever you are. Big hug to you, darling. Thank you for always fighting for me. And big love to Melissa. And sorry about you just losing your beautiful little pet there. But I'm grateful to her forever. She's the reason I got on the show.